So boom, it looks like at the end of the day, KayFlock's trial was rescheduled for November 12th, 2024. Now, if you're not aware, right, his trial was supposed to start next month. It's supposed to be September, right? But it looks like they pushed it back. Let me read this real quick. Ministry, blah, 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 blah. The court heard from parties regarding defendant motion for bail and motion to continue trial. The court denies the defendant application for bail for the reasons as stated on the record, and because defendant has not overcome the presumptions of risk of flight or risk of danger to the community, the court grants the defendant application to adjourn the trial date. Okay, all right. So this right here, they're basically like explaining why he's okay to sit there and push the date back, right? Because this is not like, you know what I'm saying, like, oh, yo, because this is what I've seen, right? A lot of people like, yo, they keep on pushing his date back, yo, they pushing it back, whoop, whoop. No, 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 no. K Flock and his attorneys and his peoples, they asked for this. They asked for this. And now because of that, right, the jury trial is rescheduled to November 12th, 2024 at 9 a.m. in court 15C before Judge Louis J. Lehman, right? Now, when I seen this, I thought to myself, right, I was like, why did they push it back? Why did they push the whole situation back in the first place, right? Why did they push it back? And it made me sit there and think to myself, like, let me go and look at this real quick. Do you guys remember when KayFlock's lawyer was speaking, I think, to Lisa Evans? Was it Lisa Evans? Let me see. Because it was clear. Look, my thing is this, right? The thing that confuses me the most when it comes to KayFlock pushing back the the um the court date, right? Is first of all, you seen what KayFlock was saying before and stuff like that. Remember when KayFlock's mom got on Math Hoffa's podcast and she was like, yo, people don't want to help and this, that, and the third, and she spent all the money that they had on lawyers and this, that, and the third, and then KayFlock, and then remember like they opened up a GoFundMe, and then KayFlock mom shared the GoFundMe, and then they got mad at Dougie B for sharing the GoFundMe. You guys remember? And then they told KayFlock mom take the GoFundMe off of her stories. And then KayFlock came out and he was like, yo, I spent half a ticket on my lawyer, whoop the whoop, this, that, and the third, like, niggas don't need no help. You know what I'm saying? Played some real prideful shit. You get what I'm saying? And remember at the time I was sitting there trying to say, like, yo, KayFlock, it's alright if you take some more help. Like, ain't nothing wrong with that. But I guess niggas ain't want to hear that, right? So now they're talking about pushing back the trial. And I'm a little confused because I thought niggas had a half a ticket on lawyers and niggas is Gucci. Now, if you remember, the same person that was doing which one was it, guys? Was it Pablo Escobar or somebody? It was somebody case that his lawyer was also like dealing with or whatever have you. One of them cartel niggas and shit like that. And this was the whole thing that was going on when he was speaking to Lisa Evans. He was breaking down what's going on, how they're gonna beat the case basically, and how K Flock is, in the what he deems in the eyes of the law an innocent man. Yo, let's check this out real quick. Let's check this out. Let me try to get the beginning of it for us. Right here. Death penalty case. He's charged with murder and aid of racketeering. He's charged with RICO conspiracy, various gun charges. I mean, it's obviously the most serious case you can have in the federal or even state system in America. But I'm not all that surprised because the case was originally a New York State matter. And it was just the murder that was charged along with the possession of the gun. And the case was incredibly weak. And frankly, I didn't think there was any chance that we were going to lose the murder charge because it was clear based on a video there were videos all over the street. There were cameras, security cameras on when this occurred in the middle of the day. And it couldn't be more clear that this was an act of self-defense. So what I realized, eventually was that they just could not win that murder case. So what did they do? They're going to drop the state case and they're going to just transfer it
to the federal system, and it allows them to charge all sorts of other violent acts as part of their RICO conspiracy charge.
And then when they talk about conspiracy, to prove that you're in it, for the government to prove that any individual is in a conspiracy, how high a bar is that, or what do they need to do?
It's not very high of a bar to establish some of the elements of the RICO conspiracy, namely that they were conspiring to violate the RICO statute. And it could just be any number of violent crimes or other acts that were done on behalf of an enterprise in furtherance of a RICO conspiracy. Now, that being said, they still have to prove some of the individual conduct. They can't just throw a bunch of mud at the wall and hope that some of it sticks. What I believe is when the jury sees how incredibly weak their main charge is, I think it'll give them pause with regard to the rest of the charges. Now, that being said, I haven't seen any evidence except the evidence pertaining to the murder.
So just to be clear, in terms of the original state murder case, that case no longer exists, or how do you explain that?
I've been told that they're going to drop it because they're just going to take it into the federal case and only have one prosecution. It's not unusual. That happens a lot. But as I said, there was a reason why we never took any plea offer in the state case. It was because I felt that the murder was weak. I was sure they were going to lose, and I was sure they were going to be embarrassed by what I thought was a preposterous prosecution. And the fact that this is now the linchpin of not only the federal case, this charge, but also is the charge that triggers a potential death penalty in this case. It's incredible. I mean, what I would say is the public should look at this video, see that Kevin Perez was clearly trying to just walk down the street, diffuse a situation, which was an armed gang member who bolted out of a barbershop to confront him. Kevin walked straight away from him, put his hand up to say, "I'm not interested." And it was only when the gang member had his hand in his pocket and was about to pull it out that Kevin realized he was going to get murdered.
Now that's the thing right there that I was confused about, because as you can hear from his lawyer, right? This is the story right here. This is the story. It's like, this is my story and I'm sticking to it. At the end of the day, the only thing that KayFlock could be playing right now, I mean, like, what I'm saying, his attorneys or whatever have you, the only play that they have right now is straight up self-defense. Things are caught on camera, we see what it is. But you heard what he just said. He's like, look, it was self-defense. He was with his little so-and-so, this, that, and the third. He was walking, someone barged towards him. He defended himself, and that's all that it should be. It should not be no murder. It should not be some premeditated situation, and this, that, and the third. Now, the thing what intrigues me, right, or piques my interest when it comes to this, right, is that I understand, like, KayFlock fans and things of that nature, or like say just the kids of drill that's not really thinking too deep into things, right? I can understand you sit there and say like, yeah, that's the case. That's good. Yeah, right there. KayFlock should be released. Like, yeah, it makes sense. He was defending himself. The guy came out the barbershop. If anything, he came towards him. KayFlock just defended himself. And if anything, he should just be doing time for the gun. Listen, at the end of the day, I'm sure the prosecutors are sitting there with the live of KayFlock holding a gun, showing the gun off on live when he was over by that neighborhood. I'm sure they got all types of footage of this nigga running through the ops neighborhoods and shit like that, taunting niggas. I'm sure they got that footage of remember when he was in the V with niggas and basically chased some nigga down the block or whatever have you with the car. Like, I'm sure they have all of that. And what the prosecutors, what they're gonna do is sit there and paint a certain picture of KayFlock. They're gonna paint a certain picture of him. What KayFlock and his lawyers are trying to paint is, hey, some kid who has to carry around a gun because at the end of the day, at the time, he was a popular rapper, or he came from a very rough neighborhood and he just always had to carry a gun because that's just what breeds, when you grow up inside that type of environment or whatever have you. That's what they're trying to push right there. So he had the gun on him and someone tried to push up on him and then he just defended himself. He was with a little girl. He was just trying to defend himself. And look, if anything, it should be a self-defense situation and just give him time or time served for the gun. What the prosecutors is trying to paint is that nigga had the gun on him because he was out there on that block in the first place looking for trouble. He was trying. going out his way to see a op. He's a op hunter. In the words of Lisa Evers, he's a trigger puller. The cops say he's a trigger puller, and he's a trigger puller. At the end of the day, he's a trigger puller. That's what they're gonna sit there and say, my nigga. That's what they're gonna sit there and say. They're gonna be like, look, he was out there looking for. Look at these videos of him sitting there saying he's looking for the ops. Look at this video of him chasing down the ops in the car and whoop the whoop. Look at this video before the shooting happened where he flashed the gun. This is what they're gonna say on their end. So I think the reason why KayFlock, because what other defense does KayFlock and his team have other than this was self-defense, I killed him within self-defense, I was with my little whoever and I killed him in self-defense because what's the other, what else is there? What else is there that needs to be worked on? Like worked more on. You get what I'm saying? Like, what more do we need to work on? That's your case. That's the shit that you're gonna sit there and put out. On the other hand, niggas is gonna sit there and show all them videos, all them lives, shit, you going back and forth with niggas on the live, sitting there saying you gonna smoke this, you smoking on that. They're gonna use music videos. They're gonna paint a certain picture in front of that jury. And I don't think just saying like, yo, it was self-defense is gonna, you know what I'm saying, convince the jury of otherwise from what the prosecutors are trying to say. So I think that's why he's pushing it back. But my question is, what is gonna be the new defense? What's gonna be the new story? If you're pushing it back, I'm sure they're trying to tweak certain things. So what are they gonna tweak? Oh, he only was like that on those videos because it was for entertainment purposes. This, that, and they're like, what are they gonna say? I don't know. You guys let me know in the chat.
And when the victim hit the ground and they went through his pockets, what did they find? They found a loaded gun with one in the chamber that was meant for Kevin Perez. Now, we're not fools here in New York City. But if you know that a violent guy, a guy with a rap sheet a mile long, with all kinds of violence in it, is about to take out a gun and shoot you, what do? You have nowhere to go. There was nowhere for him to go. He was just a handful of feet away from the so-called victim.
How concerned are you also about with the aspect of the music? We've seen high-profile cases like Casanova, Tekashi 6ix9ine, with these large indictments, with large numbers of people indicted in the same particular case. The lyrics and their music being used as evidence to portray a picture of criminality. How concerned are you about that, especially because of just the rawness, the street rawness of the drill music and of a lot of his lyrics?
Well, I'm concerned that the jury's going to be tricked into thinking that what people write in their lyrics is actually somehow fact. What I would point you to, you mentioned 6ix9ine, and I would say in his lyrics, I don't think he's bragging about the thought rate for the feds. And that's exactly what he became. So clearly what they write in their lyrics and the real world are not necessarily the same thing.
Oh shit, my bad, y'all, my bad. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? So that's the whole situation that's going down with KayFlockington. Who knows what's gonna happen? Let's see what happens. Hopefully he's Gucci, you know? Had to push this whole situation back. Pause. That sounds crazy.